Hello, my friend. I'm glad you made it here again. Before we begin, take a slow breath in, hold it for a moment, and gently release it. Let your jaw unclench. Let the noise of the day fade, even just a little. This is your pause, the space where we can look inward, without hurry, without defense. Today's question is one that sits quietly behind many of our heartbreaks. Why do we sometimes push away the people who care for us most, just when we need them the most? It's strange, isn't it? You might be hurting, lonely, lost, and someone reaches out with care. Yet instead of leaning in, you turn away. You say you're fine when you're not. You retreat into silence, push love back with a smile that doesn't reach your eyes, or snap at the person trying to help. And later, when the moment has passed, you wonder why. Maybe it's shame. Maybe it's fear. Maybe it's that the act of being seen when you feel broken feels too raw to bear. We like to imagine that comfort always feels comforting, but often it doesn't. Sometimes being loved when we're hurting feels unbearable, because to accept care is to admit that we need it. And needing means we're not in control. Let me tell you a story. A man I once met had gone through a painful divorce. His friends tried to visit, to check in, to invite him out. He refused every time. "I don't want their pity," he said. "I just want to handle it on my own." Months later, when he finally talked about it, he realized what he'd really feared wasn't pity. It was exposure. He didn't want his friends to see the version of himself that wasn't strong, wasn't composed. He thought if they saw that, they'd never look at him the same way again. So he pushed them away to preserve the image he thought love required. We all do this in our own ways. We've been taught, often quietly, that love is easiest when we're at our best, when we're pleasant, successful, easy to be around. But when we're hurting, uncertain, angry, or ashamed, something in us whispers, "Don't show this. It will be too much." We forget that the people who truly care for us don't love us because we're perfect. They love us because we're real. Still, in those dark moments, love can feel like light that's too bright for the eyes. We flinch from it. We say, "I need space," when what we really mean is, "I don't know how to let you see me like this." Sometimes it's not even conscious. When life feels heavy, our nervous systems go into protection mode, fight, flight, or freeze. For some of us, flight looks like withdrawal. Distance feels safer than vulnerability. The mind says, "If I isolate, I can't be rejected." But the cost of that safety is loneliness. There was a young woman who once described her depression to me like this: "When people said they loved me, it hurt because I couldn't believe them. I couldn't feel what they saw in me, so I started avoiding them, just to stop that ache of being loved when I didn't love myself." That kind of pain is quiet but deep. When your self-worth is low, love can feel like disbelief. You think, if they really knew me, they'd leave. So you leave first, not physically, but emotionally. But love, true love, from friends, family, partners, doesn't crumble when met with your worst days. It may not always know the right words, but it endures. The hard part is allowing yourself to trust that endurance. It takes courage to stay open when everything in you wants to shut down. It's easier to say, "I'm fine," than "I'm not okay." It's easier to isolate than to risk disappointing someone. But every time you push someone away who cares for you, you also push away the small chance of being healed by their presence. Let's pause here for a moment. Think of someone who's reached for you when you were struggling. Maybe a friend who kept checking in, or a partner who sat beside you in silence, or a parent who called just to say, "I'm here." Did you let them in, or did you brush it off? What would have happened if you'd let yourself lean, even just a little, on that care? Sometimes pushing people away isn't about rejecting love, it's about protecting it. We think, if I show my mess, I'll ruin this. But love isn't ruined by truth, it's strengthened by it. Pretending to be fine doesn't spare others, it just hides the chance for real closeness. There's another story that comes to mind. A man in his 70s once said, "My wife used to tell me when I was quiet for too long, you disappear when you're sad." She was right. I'd shut down because I thought it was kinder to suffer alone. But the truth is, it just made her feel shut out. He paused for a while before adding, "When I finally learned to say, 'I'm not okay,' she'd just hold my hand. That was enough." That's the thing. Sometimes we don't need fixing, only witnessing. When you let someone stay with you in your pain, without trying to tidy it, you invite something deeper than comfort. You invite connection. Of course, there are reasons this is hard. Some of us grew up in places where vulnerability was dangerous, where emotions were met with criticism or dismissal. We learned early that safety meant silence. Others have been hurt when we tried to open up before. So now we guard ourselves like fortresses, even from the kindest hearts. But there's a truth worth remembering. Not everyone will misuse your openness. Yes, some will misunderstand, but others, the right ones, will honor it. And you'll never find them if you never let anyone see you. Maybe, instead of asking why we push people away, we can start asking, what would happen if I didn't? What if, instead of hiding the parts that ache, you let someone meet you there, not to rescue, but to stand beside you? Imagine it for a moment. Someone sits across from you. You tell them what you're carrying, honestly, clumsily, maybe through tears. They don't interrupt. They don't rush to solve it. They just stay. That staying is love in its purest form. And in that space, you begin to feel something shift. Not because the pain disappears, but because you're no longer alone in it. You deserve that kind of presence. You deserve to let people care for you without feeling like a burden. You are not too much. You are human. So, my friend, if you notice yourself starting to retreat the next time someone reaches for you, pause for a second. Ask yourself, am I protecting myself or am I protecting my fear? If it's fear, let it soften. You don't have to hand over your whole heart. Just let the door open a little. Sometimes that small opening is enough for love to walk through. Remember this, the people who truly care for you don't love you because you're strong. They love you because you're you, in all your changing, imperfect, tired, beautiful forms. Let them see you, let them stay, and in doing so, you give both of you something rare, a love that breathes, even in the hardest hours. Thank you for being here, for giving yourself this moment to reflect. Stay gentle, stay curious, and stay kind. And if this question spoke to you, continue your journey with us on Yarven's Questions. More stories, more reflections, and more quiet truths are waiting for you. Take care, my friend. Until next time.